For those of you wanting to develop your ear training, but you're just not sure where to start, today I want to share with you 3 simple exercises that you can complete daily. These require only a few minutes of time per day, but over time you're going to develop that ear you've always dreamed of having. So whether it's to learn music by ear, to keep up with the musicians around you that seem like they have ears that are far superior, or maybe you just want to impress your friends with your ear. These are the exercises you want to start out with in your ear training journey. So let's just dive in. So the first one I want you to start with is actually an app called Tunudo. There's also a web-based version, so I'll have links below to all of these. Once you're in Tunudo, I want you to scroll down until we get to ear training. So it's actually the second to last module. So in ear training, I want you to start with just no ear training. So that's that second one. So once you're in the ear training, in the top right is this little gear. So go ahead and click on that, and now you can customize your exercise. If you're on the phone version, you'll have to tap maybe on the 3 little dots to open up the menu and then customize from there. And what I want you to start with is just 3 notes. That's all you need to start is 3 notes. Can you identify the 3 notes? So at the top is this notes. So if you hold on that, you can pull open what notes. And so actually, I just want you to start with the C, D, and E. So the first 3 notes. From day one, what I really want you to do is use something besides note names. So kind of down here, notice at the bottom, there's these note names. Click on that. Instead of letters, what I really would suggest using is solfege down here. You could also use scale degrees. So just to show you what that looks like, if you do scale degrees, now it's scale degree 1, 2, 3. So that C is that 1. Personally, I am a huge proponent of solfege, so that's what I'm going to keep it on. So now you have do, re, mi, instead of the C, D, E, or instead of 1, 2, 3. Solfege to me is the ultimate method for having a complete ear training, so you can have inflections of sharp and flat notes with your singing. Singing is a big part of it. We'll talk about more. So I have a video here breaking down why it's so helpful, so you might check out that after this video. So you may also, once you mess with the solfege, you might want to check on the range. So right now, if it was playing the C's, it would play low C's, high C's. I think for now, you just want to start with a nice, comfortable middle C is C4, and then since we only have C, D, E, let's just keep that as our range. That way we don't have to worry about the octave. So it's just these 3 notes. Just to show you a little bit, it'll play your reference note, which is that C, and then you'll have to say, okay, is it C, is it D, is it E, right? So do, re, mi. Right, so that do, re, okay, do, re, mi, so there's your mi, and we're back home to, right, there's our do, for instance, okay? So you just start with these 3 notes, that's all you have to do is do, re, mi. And as time goes on, what I want you to do is then go into your notes. You'll have to expand, add fa and sol, for instance, so scale degree 4 and 5 if you're using scale degrees. And you can slowly expand from just the 3 notes to the 1 through 5, so you can get comfortable with your do to sol from there. After that, I would personally add in la and ti. So this is the major scale, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. And what I would personally do, instead of having the octave of C to C, what I would personally do is get really comfortable of the G to G, the sol to sol, 5 to 5. So that way do is in the middle. You're revolving around do, going a little above do, going a little below do, but you're revolving around that do. From there, you could expand it to the full octave. You could do sol, that low sol down up to the high do. You can then go to 2 octaves, and I think that's pretty good from there. So start with just 3 notes, slowly add a few more notes going above and below that home do, right? And just do this for 5-10 minutes a day. You're going to get so much quicker. The first few times, just start where you're comfortable. If it's just even 2 notes, high versus low, start with 2 notes, add 3 notes, add 4 notes. Just slowly expand and think of the long game. Everyone can do this. I used to do this while I was eating breakfast. I would sit down with my cereal and just do this for 5 minutes while I was eating. I was terrible, just absolutely terrible when I started. But over time, I've developed the ear that this is really easy for me now. But don't compare yourself to others. Just think about, where did you start from? Where were you even just a year ago? Right? You might not see progress from day to day, but think about like last month, last year. Where were you? See how far you've grown. So the biggest reason I want you to start with Tunudo and using that reference note is that I want you to start thinking about this home note, this tonic note, right? That is going to be the center. So most styles of music that my students are listening for have that home note that they're going to reference. So that's what your goal is, to use that as you're going to revolve around that home note. That leads us to step 2. When you're listening to music, can you find which note is do or tonic, scale degree 1, right? If you're in the key of C, which note is the C? Don't worry about all the other notes, just can you find where are the C's? And this might be a challenge for you at first, and that's okay, right? Again, we're talking about baby steps, doing this a little at a time, right? So just spend a few minutes a day when you're listening to the music you already enjoy. You can just say, okay, I think that one's home. So usually in like popular music, for instance, at the end of a chorus, they often end on do, or at the end of a classical piece or even some pop music, they end melodically on do. Right? So they end on tonic. So can you find that note, and can you hear it when it happens at other places in the music then? So you're just saying that one's do, sing that note, and then can you identify and compare, do you hear that do, that tonic note coming back? Personally, just do this with all the songs you listen to already. I do this a lot in the car when I'm the passenger. We're listening to some of my wife's music, which I love. She's got really good taste in music. And so I'll be like, this has a really cool chord progression. So I'll try to guess what key it's in, and I'll write down the chord progression, and then I'll come back later and double check myself. So the last thing I want you to do is, when you are practicing your own music, start thinking in terms of scale degrees and solfege, so that you are constantly aware of, one, what key you are in at all times. Even if the music is quite a ways in and it's modulated, it doesn't always stay in C major, right? So can you find out what key you're in, and then, okay, what does it sound like in relation to that home note? Even if it's modulated, what is the new home, and what are the notes around it in relation to that new home? So be thinking about how does that relate, and especially sing your music in solfege. Right? For instance, if you're a cello player and learning your cello pieces, I had a friend in grad school that would do this constantly. He would learn all his pieces in solfege, and it really helped with his memorization, and it helped with his intonation. It was just unreal, the progress he would make just from singing the music, right? So do that, and sing it in scale degrees, sing it in solfege, whatever is more comfortable for you. Personally, again, I like the solfege. In addition to that, just sing the scale up and down, major and minor, and you can get into your modes and all sorts of fun scales. But start with the major scale. Sing it really slowly, really lock into the pitch. And if this is a struggle for you, right, you're not a singer, I'm not a singer, you might need to record yourself, have a friend, or something played at the piano, so you're checking, are you matching pitch? And if it's really hard, sometimes you just got to record yourself and listen back, right? Sometimes it's easier to be an outside observer and see, okay, I really wasn't in tune there, or, oh, okay, I'm getting better, I'm more in tune. Watching the video and listening that way, as opposed to trying to do it in the moment. There's something about hearing yourself as a singer, we get confused by all the overtones. So something you could do too to help with this, if you put your hands like this over your ears, you hear yourself completely different. So as you're trying to match pitch, do this, and so you can hear the piano or whatever it is, and you're trying to match pitch too. All right, so I practice constantly, even with very familiar folk songs, nursery songs, right? Even then more complex songs that you're hearing on the radio or in the concert hall, whatever it is, constantly thinking about where is the music in relation to that home note. So that's really the big skill you're trying to develop over all of these 3 daily activities. So if you want to dive in further with some of my other ear training apps, I have a video here where I dive more into how to use Sonido and some other excellent ear training apps that you just, again, try to get this daily into your schedule while you're eating breakfast, laying down in bed at night. Instead of scrolling on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is these days, just do 5-10 minutes of your ear training, right? Just a few minutes a day will really compound over time, and you'll finally have that ear you've always been dreaming about. So thanks. Have a great day.